Welcome everyone to Utica, Michigan and Jimmy John's Field, just about underway in some more USPBL action. It's the visiting Eastside Diamond Hoppers here today and the home Utica Unicorns. This is a big contest here today for a number of reasons. Number one, yesterday the Beavers, for the second consecutive doubleheader, were able to sweep action, but that puts a little pressure on the Hoppers and the Unicorns here today to pick up a victory. Welcome to the United Shore Media Desk, everyone. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here today. Another sun-soaked day. It's what we've been seeing here at Jimmy John's Field all year long, really.
It is. I feel like we should be at the beach right now, man. What a beautiful day. A little warm out here, but a beautiful day for a Sunday afternoon ball game.
So, two different strategies on the pitching end. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit more in our pitcher comparison brought to you by Denso, but one squad trying to piece it together. In the Hoppers, we have a couple different guys shifting over. John Murphy from the Mammoths, Jack Ferguson from the Hoppers as well. Two guys who are originally not on the taxi squad. They'll each try to get two to begin this game.
Yeah, you know, for the Hoppers, not such a bad deal. If you're going to try to piece some things together, why not try a couple closers from other teams? You know, you might be able to get a couple good innings out of guys who are used to coming in and giving their best and closing things out. Maybe they can be openers as they've been using in MLB and get this thing done for the Hoppers.
Well, yesterday, two huge innings for the Beavers. That's kind of what we've been seeing in USPBL offense so far. An 8-run first inning where they sent 13 to the plate, just a show of dominance.
Yeah, that was incredible. You know, the first game, that's kind of the way it ended up playing out. The second game was a little bit different. Ben McKendall ended up really settling down and was outstanding the rest of the way. And just that one blip in his game, basically, that was really interesting to follow how that one played out. Also for the Beavers, Garrett Chrisman was really outstanding, really settled in, throwing strikes. His changeup was great. You could tell he was establishing a lot of confidence in that circle change. And those two things combined, they ended up having a great day, and now they got a shot at first place.
Yeah, if you didn't watch that last game, you can watch it on the archives here on Facebook and YouTube. We were able to catch up with Garrett Chrisman after the game, and maybe he hasn't shown that changeup as much here in the USPBL, but he said, yeah, that's his out pitch in college, so it's something he's very comfortable with. It looked great last night, though.
Yeah, it sure did. I've never seen a guy back his changeup as much as he did last night. Normally that's something that doesn't work. A changeup is meant to be a change of pace. You throw it after your fastball or maybe when the hitter is expecting a fastball, but he kept throwing it and he kept getting guys out front. It was a swing and miss pitch oftentimes, and that's not normally the case with a straight change.
Well, now time to take a look at our starting lineups, as always brought to you by AAA. First for the visiting Hoppers, leading off is the shortstop Anthony Maselli. Batting second is the designated hitter Jalen Smith. In the 3-hole is the catcher Luke Johnson here today. Zach Gray back in the heart of the order. He's swinging a pretty hot bat at that first base position as well. Riley Mahalik, Josh Goulet from the taxi squad, and Greg Vaughn Jr. back in the lineup here for the Hoppers here today. Grise and Jordan Pontius will round it out at the bottom. You flip it over and look at the home Utica Unicorn squad. Leading it off is the center fielder Coley Curry. Tagged a nice home run a couple nights ago here on Friday to right field. 107 off the bat on the exit. Velo, Adam De La Cruz, Derek Hurt, and Andrew McCoy represent the rest of the top four. Nick Schneider, Ashton Bartzel, Ben Beverly also in there. Jordan Finney back in at the catcher position, and Malik Blaze batting ninth for the Unicorns here today and playing shortstop. So you look at these two lineups and, you know, some interchangeable pieces. We've seen a few more taxi squad quote-unquote guys throughout the year. August 1st might turn a corner. We're going to have a tryout at the beginning of August here in the USPBL, so we're going to see some guys shift around. We're going to see some guys come in, maybe some more affiliated guys who are not really playing right now because of minor league baseball, but overall they're just trying to, you know, find out which pieces work where right now.
Yeah, you know, in the game of baseball, your roster is always going to be fluctuating somewhat. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be guys that don't work out, guys that don't perform well, but that's really amplified by several times probably in this COVID atmosphere because you have short rosters to begin with. You've got teams that are sharing guys already with this taxi squad, which is obviously not a traditional arrangement, but hopefully can get a few more good bodies in here, settle these rosters down a little bit. To some degree, I think the Hoppers have, you know, a decent core there that they're gonna take to the dance probably the whole year, especially in the lineup. And that's why we like their lineup. It's a veteran group that's had some success, and maybe the other three teams can start to get that established core as well.
Well, we'll have our pitcher comparison coming up next by sponsored by Denso. Also take a look at Dan's keys to the game. Opening pitch between these two squads is coming up next, and it's an important one here on a Sunday afternoon. Sun-soaked Jimmy John's Field. Stick with us.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
The Chevy Trax from your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers has a sporty, compact design that makes it the perfect SUV for everywhere you like to roll. Lease a 2020 Trax LT front-wheel drive for just $222 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Idle back alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here today. Beautiful day for baseball, another hot and steamy one. It'll be hot in the grandstands here today. We thank all our fine partners, including these, for bringing you the game today. DTE Energy, AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, the Detroit Medical Center, Dunham Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scots, Summit Oral, and United Shore. We thank all those partners and all the other ones that have made us be here today, sitting calling a baseball game. It's certainly great to be here, and I'm sure the players are enjoying soaking up the sun, being outside and playing the game they love here today. We've kind of already talked about it, but this is an important game for both of these two squads because of what the Beavers did last night. The second sweep of a doubleheader. More than half of their wins have come in a doubleheader, so a great job by them to get it to this point. Let's take a peek at the pitching comparison brought to you by Denso. Two more so relievers going here tonight. For the Unicorns, it's Justin Revels and John Murphy on the other end. They're looking to get two out of John Murphy, kind of a spot start in, a quick fashion, if you will. I'm not sure he knew he was starting until a couple hours before the game tonight.
Sometimes that's okay. It's good. It's good not to have to sleep on it sometimes. But he had a little bit of a rough outing his last time out in relief, and I'm sure he's welcoming this opportunity to set things right. Hopper's trying to put together a little bit of what you call a pen day. Run together some quality back-end relievers and see if you can get through 7.
On the other side for Justin Revels, pitched for a couple squads here today, this year, mostly with the Unicorns, just one inning with the Mammoths as well, but it's a guy they want to see the bite on the slider here tonight.
He had a nice start the last time out. He went 4 innings, got the W against the Beavers, only allowed 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, and got 3 Ks. So a good quality start there, looking for another one today. And the Utica Unicorns have had a lot of quality starts this year. That's why they're in first place. That's been the name of the game for them. Now
time for Dan Griesbaum Jr.'s keys to the game. What do you got?
Well, I think John Murphy's start is certainly a major key for this ball game. He was a little bit in a bad place the last time out with his command. He walked too many guys, and especially in that bullpen role, that's always going to be a problem. Hopefully he is ready for this spot start and can give his club a chance to win. And on the flip side, can Rebels have another good start? He's been a guy that's really a taxi squad guy and has been a bullpen guy in the past. Can he put together another nice start for his club today against a pretty good Diamond Hoppers lineup, a good veteran lineup, and keep his club in first place?
Coley Curry on top of the Unicorns lineup again here today. Talked to him the other day. He said, my swing is nowhere near it needs to be in terms of being ready, but he's looking better of late, isn't he?
Oh, he sure is. The ball really jumped off his bat, had a nice approach up there, and he's a good table setter for these guys.
Opening pitch of the game between the Unicorns and the Hoppers is coming up next right here on the USPBO Network. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan, everyone. Justin Revels taking the mound here for the Utica Unicorns. The home squad again here today. 2 appearances for the Corns in total, 6 innings. Just 1 hit given up, 1 run it was earned, 1 walk to 6 Ks as well. An opponent's batting average of .053.
That's not very good. He's done a pretty good job. Pretty good job getting guys out so far.
These 2 teams matched up on Friday, 5-3 win for the Diamond Hoppers. Jugan Darnell on the mound for the Hoppers pitched 3 innings. Greg Shanahan for the Unicorns, 3 2/3. Not the best outing for Shanahan to his standards. I'm sure he'll bounce back the next time around.
Yeah, it's a long season. You just got to stay consistent mentally, physically, put your work in, and there's always going to be another chance.
Check the defensive alignment here for the Unicorns. And left is Derek Hurt, Coley Curry patrolling center field again here tonight. Andrew McCoy in right. Adam De La Cruz at third base. Blaze and Beverly represent the double play combo up the middle. Nick Snyder over at first, and Finney behind the dish here this afternoon.
We'll have to ask Jim Essian sometime what he's seen with his outfield defensively so far. I know Derek Hurt had been in center, and then he, last couple of times out, decided to swap him and Coley Curry. Wonder if there's certain thought behind that, if he thinks Curry takes better routes than Hurt at this stage, or if it's just trying something new.
So Finney delivers that strike down to second base, and we are good to go here tonight. Game time temperature 88 degrees.
Feels every bit of it.
Humidity 51%. That's
Yeah,
also
there you go.
why.
Right.
Just a 9-mile-per-hour wind as that flag is going slightly towards right center field. And here comes Anthony Maselli. It's Maselli, Smith, and Luke Johnson, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the first inning. First pitch to Maselli at 88 is wide. Right off the bat, De La Cruz is pinching in from his third base position. Everybody else pretty much back on the infield with his lefty at the plate. 1-0 pitch on the ground first base side. Snyder gets off well, feeds low to Revels, but he recovers.
It's one of those plays that you practice a million times in spring training, but this year not so much of a spring training.
Right?
They've tried to work it on the side a little bit.
Here's Jalen Smith now.
It's another one of those guys that we seem to see every day, don't we?
Seems like it on the taxi squad most of the time.
Generally hits in the 2 spot for the Hoppers when he's with them.
He has a good amount of at-bats, even though he has bounced around quite a bit. 25 here with Paul Nochi's squad. 1 extra base hit, has scored 4 runs as well.
Extra base hit was a home run, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm. Justin Revels, 6'4", 215, righty out of Illinois Springfield. Here's the 1-1, lined into left for a base hit with 1 out here. So now Luke Johnson will get his shot.
Stepping up for the Diamond Hoppers, the catcher, Luke Johnson.
A couple nights ago, Johnson 0 for 4 against Jugan Darnell, Noah Stroll, and Rabin Martin. Pair of strikeouts, a couple flyouts as well, one to right, one to center.
He hasn't had his best swings the last few times out. More strikeouts than are characteristic of him, it seems.
Yeah, he wants that strikeout to walk ratio about even. He does know he's going to strike out some with the power that he has in this right-handed bat. First pitch reigns high at 76.
Rebels has kind of a short arm action. We've seen that out of a couple of guys. Sometimes that fastball, even though it's 88, which isn't overpowering, but it can get on you a little quicker than that because of that short arm.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss at a pitch biting towards the outside there. They'd love to get 4 innings out of Justin here today. I want to see that slider for strikes. He's got a fastball, a slider, and a change. Big gap in right center field for this righty. Here's the 1-1 pitch in for strike 2. That wind is blowing at a decent clip. We don't see it blow much, but even the trees, you can see the leaves kind of trending back towards the Clinton River behind the ballpark here.
Could definitely see a left-hander hitting one out of here today.
1-1. Good job to get a piece of that biting slider to the outside. Or maybe that was the change.
Yeah, in either case, that was a good piece of hitting with 2 strikes on you.
One out in the inning. Jalen Smith has reached with the sharp single into left. Runner in motion. The 1-2 again fouled off at 77.
It's a run and hit type situation. Hitter's got 2 strikes on him. Obviously, you have to give him the option to take if it's a bad pitch. You can't have him just swing at anything. But in that case, that was a good strike that he spoiled. Smith did have a good jump, though. He probably could have stole that one on his own. We haven't seen a lot of great holding guys on or great moves.
It's almost like the pitchers aren't really paying attention at this point.
Right.
I mean, is it possible that could be the directive right now?
I don't know. It is a developmental league, so I know they want guys to run, but I think it's probably just a situation where the pitchers are thinking about a lot of things within their own game, their own mechanics, their own pitches, and just not paying attention to that part of it.
And they will be given a lot coming here to the USPBL, starting kind of now in terms of the DVS system and everything that they can do to look into these mechanics and delivery. But as a player, you got to hone in, obviously, when you're on the mound or you're at the plate or on defense.
I was just in a discussion with some of my old teammates actually about how you project guys and things like that, and speed. How important is speed? And of course it's important, but in the game today there really hasn't been a lot of base stealing, but we've seen a lot in this league.
In motion again. This one inside, pretty good pitch to throw on as Finney delivers one just outside of the bag to Blaze, and there's a TCF stolen base as Smith swipes second.
And that was stolen on the pitcher. I think Finney did a fine job with the exchange there and the throw. Just got a great jump. Not much he could do about it. We haven't seen a lot of slide steps from the right-handed pitchers either. That might be something part of the directive. Maybe they're not having them really work on that yet. And when you don't slide step, it's easy to get a good jump.
Nice bite to that pitch to the outside. Spin rate of 22.83. And again, to compare the Major League average 2,500. So nice pitch there by Justin Revels. That's the one they wanted to work on here today. That'll be a big part of John Murphy's game as well when he comes out to start here. Zach Gray, the last shot now. First pitch to Zach, lone inside, 1-0. And a home run along with 8 RBIs to his credit. The big thing, though, and this is Gray's go-to, 10 walks to 4 Ks. So a guy with some pop, you love to see those numbers, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's a ultimate hitter.
When you can't get a power guy to chase, it makes it very tough when you're the pitcher.
On top of that, he's a lefty, and he strokes this one into right field. Smith, long turn, coming home. Good slide to the outside of the dish, and the tag by Finney is just late.
Very good slide. And his teammate, Riley Mahalik, constructing him from behind the plate, which is a underrated part of the game, but something you have to do as an on-deck hitter. You got to get up there and help him out with regard to if he should slide, where he should slide, that type of thing. But very good job there by Smith.
Not a bad throw by McCoy. He got it in quick.
Not bad at all. Pretty good outfield for the Unicorns really today as far as speed. They can cover a lot of ground out there. McCoy, Curry, Hurt.
So the Hoppers on top here, 1-0. And now Riley Mahalik will keep it going, the fifth man to bat here in this first inning. Mahalik has driven in 6 runs so far in 28 at-bats. Been a mainstay with this Hoppers squad for the most part. Flubbed this one to center. Curry coming in. Sliding play, and he picks it up. Boy, the sink on that ball, I didn't think he had a chance, but Curry has that outstanding speed and took a Maglio-esque slide in center field for the third out.
Yep, that ball had a topspin on it. It looked like it got in on his hands a little bit. Couldn't quite tell, but he turned it over.
1-0 Hoppers here on the USPBL Network.
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club. Join today, starting at just $21.99 a month.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Another contest at stake here today on YouTube and Facebook, the comments section, so even more reason to interact with us here on the air. First contest, the first person in each broadcast stream, so on Facebook and YouTube, to correctly guess the final score of today's game, including the final number of runs for each team, will win a JJ the Field General plush toy. And then the second contest, the first person on each stream to correctly guess the player of the team will win a gift card from Mr. Muffler for a free oil change.
Nice.
How about that?
That's a good deal. That's worth taking a shot at. Maybe I should go on there under an alias.
Anytime I have to get an oil change, it's like, oh, here's another $30. But Kozak's Mr. Muffler is always a great place to visit. Makes that experience a little bit less taxing.
Definitely. It's good to have a go-to place for something like that.
Coley Curry to kick things off for the Unicorns here in the first inning. 1 run on the board, thanks to a nice knock by Zach Gray into right field. He drove in Jalen Smith, who uncorked a 1-out single.
And a key stolen base from Jalen Smith.
On the ground second base side, Pontius charges over to first for the first out.
And that's a nice start there for Murphy. He wants to be a lot more efficient with his pitches than he was the last time out. It's strange seeing him in this Hoppers uniform, isn't it?
It is.
Used to seeing him in that Mammoth gear.
Check the defense on the Hoppers side. Griesbaum, Vaughn, and Golay left to right in the outfield. It's Mahalik, Maselli, and Pontius, and then Gray over at first, and Johnson completing the battery here this afternoon. 89 for strike 1.
We'll see how Murphy paces himself here. If he knows he's only going to go a couple, he might start to cut loose with his fastball a little bit.
Fastball, slider, for the most part, for John Murphy. 0-1 sneaks inside.
He may try to lay off on it a little bit today, just knowing that he had that command trouble the last time out. May think about staying more within himself, hitting his spots.
I'd like to see a consistent 92 to 94 here today, if you can get to that point. Slider in the dirt, reigns 2-1. So 20 pitches on the bump for Justin Revels in the last frame. Curry, you saw him ground out. De La Cruz and Hurt, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the home half of the first inning. Now the 2-1. 88 away. Some tail action to that fastball seemed.
Yep. Maybe he's making a change there. I know he's generally a 4-seam fastball guy, but maybe he'll try the 2-seamer once in a while. That could be why it's more around 88 right now as opposed to 92-ish.
In straight at 87.
Straight in terms that it was a fastball, but that did have more, some tailing action on it as well. He may be making some kind of an adjustment with that pitch.
Mike Sparling on Facebook is chiming in for one of those contests, looking for that Mr. Muffler coupon. He says, player of the game, Colby Curry. That's a good choice so far with his diving play.
Yep.
Saved the extension of that inning for the Hoppers offense, and that's a close pitch on a 3-2, but taken down low.
On the plus side with Murphy, guys really haven't hit him. When he's been throwing strikes, the opposing hitters only have a $1.76 batting average.
Derek Hurd against the Hoppers on Friday, 1 for 3 with a run. Looks at a fastball way outside. So we're expected to see Murphy and then Jack Ferguson, who makes just a spot appearance on the Hoppers here today. Hasn't pitched in a week, so that's a big reason why. He's a full-time Beaver for the most part.
It's nice to have that flexibility here in the league where you can make sure you get guys enough work. Helps with their development, certainly. Especially if you're working on certain things, you don't want to go a whole week without getting game action in.
Andrew Franklin on YouTube says, player of the game is the iced coffee from yesterday.
Yesterday it was.
That was one of the best races we've seen this year.
It was.
The Dunkin' Donuts race. Here's the 1-1 with the runner moving, high and tight at 79, and that throw is going to scatter into center field and allow De La Cruz to scamper to third without a throw.
Really good ball to run on. He ended up getting a breaking ball. And then a little bonus there with the throw that sailed a little bit from Johnson, able to go on to third base now with 1 out.
It was a plus slider in terms of the movement, too, so that doesn't make it any easier for Johnson to get it out of the glove quickly. So just like that, a runner 90 feet away from scoring, trying to tie this ball game up in the bottom half. Now the 2-1, way outside at 89. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Elevated that one up top, and Hurts saw his eyes light up. Murphy, 10 walks to 8 Ks thus far in 4 appearances for the Mammoths, so they want to get that down, obviously. That fastball got up to 90, his best so far here today.
This would be a big spot for a strikeout from Murphy. They're playing back in the infield. Any kind of a ground ball is going to score the run. Most fly balls are going to score the run.
Poke to second. Going to be enough to get that run in, and what a battle by Derek Hurt to tie up the ball game in 1.
It's a nice piece of hitting there by Derek Hurt. 2 strikes on him. He stayed on that ball, just kind of slapped it the other way where it was pitched. He knew the infield was back and did a nice job taking the easy RBI, and now we got ourselves a tie game.
Here's Andrew McCoy now. Between all the rosters he's been on thus far, combined 3 for 25 with 3 runs scored for this speedy right-hander as he looks at a ball on the corner for strike 1. Hasn't been able to get on base very often, just 3 walks, and obviously the 3 hits as well, so only 1 for 2 on the stolen base. If he gets on more, I mean, he can do that more for sure.
Not what you'd call a prototypical cleanup guy, but Jim Essien likes to try some different things with his lineup.
Waiting on the 1-1, here it comes. On the ground to Maselli. Vacuums that up, chucks it over to first base, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So a 1-out walk. De La Cruz ends up reaching 3rd after the throw from Johnson sails into center field in the steal try, and then ground out the opposite way by Derek Hurt, able to knot up this ball game at 1 apiece. Now time for Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Trivia here today.
I need to get back on the winning
Some more
side.
Disney.
Oh, boy.
Complete this lyric from Mulan. We must be swift as a blank river.
Swift as a rushing river.
No.
Okay, I don't know it. I don't know Mulan. I tried to guess based on the sound of the sentence. I don't even know what a coursing river is. I don't even know what that means. So this one wasn't made for me. I wasn't going to get this one.
Maybe you got to watch that with the kids now.
I guess. I'm a little streaky as it comes to the trivia. I ran off, 4 or 5 in a row that were good, and then I have a tendency to get cold for a couple days.
So maybe next week is your day. Although, are you leaving us on Wednesday and Thursday?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to be out of pocket on Wednesday and Thursday, and you guys are going to upgrade the broadcast to, I think Justin Orendorff's going to be in here at least part of the time, so I know you're going to spend some time studying baseball analytics, and you're going to be peppering him with stuff.
For sure.
Throughout the game. Then we can get back to our normal banter about movies and food and whatnot on the weekend, but you can have a couple solid days of baseball with Justin Orendorff.
It's Jordan Finney again in the lineup here today for the Unicorns at catcher. Taxi squad guy. You're seeing some uncharacteristic guys on rosters here today. That should be straightened up a little bit more towards next week. Blake Bollert on Facebook got the trivia question right. Now, Blake, did you comment before or after the answer came on your screen?
How fast can he type? I know from experience that he's a Derek Hurt fan, so I'm sure he's excited about that RBI.
Diane Matthews says affirming Drew McCoy will come through for player of the game here today.
All right.
Josh Goulet, Greg Vaughn Jr. and Grise, your Zach Hart agency 3-men up. First pitch to Goulet is in for strike 1.
We should start calling him Everyday Goulet.
Yeah.
I feel like we see him in the middle of somebody's order every day.
It seems like it, doesn't it? Played game 1 in the cleanup spot yesterday for the Mammoths. Drew a walk and launched a single as well. Left side of the infield, way back with his righty at the plate. Second baseman Beverly is on the cut of the grass as well. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss at 87. 87 that had some decent spin, though. 2091 on the spin rate there. We saw that a little bit with Murphy in the last half as well. Uncorks the breaking ball there at 79, and Goulet just able to get a tapping piece. What do you feel like as a hitter like that? Is it a win to think that you fouled it off, or are you uncomfortable with the way you just swung?
I think it's a win because when you have a swing like that, it's a result of something else going wrong. You know, your balance was off, or you got a pitch you didn't expect, or something like that. So probably a win.
1-2, got on top of that one, turned the hands inside and piped it to center.
Yep, he lived for another pitch there, and then he fought off another pretty good pitch into center field for a single.
Didn't get barrel, but sometimes you don't need to.
Right.
Vaughn Jr. with the hoppers has shown some patience, only 2 hits to his credit, one being a double, but he has 5 walks compared to 5 Ks, so he's still trying to work this bat back in. Came in a little bit late. Has a runner on first base to begin the second inning here in a tie score. Really trying to pitch inside here in the second, and he buries that one at 86 for strike 1. Eric Velasquez says, let's go number 23, Derek Hurt, and the Unicorn SoCal fans watching in the house. Here's a 0-1 now. On the ground, shortstop side. Blaze, strong throw to second, feed over to first, too high and off. Vaughn Jr. has pretty good speed. He's got 2 steals on this Hoppers team so far this year.
Blaze did a nice job to get over to that ball and get the lead runner. It was a tough play going to his right.
And the defense is what they want Malik Blaze to worry about. They want to turn his hitting around, and they say he's pretty focused on it. Has obviously struggled pretty mightily this year in the box, but they want him to dazzle at shortstop. As this is outside to Grise.
He usually does, and he's a pretty heady player out there too. You can tell he's always working with his pitcher on pick-off attempts and things like that. He's always very active.
Jim Essian, a week back or so, just saying he needs more at-bats, get some base hits, solid base hits to gain that confidence. I don't think they need to change a whole lot with his swing, just not making a lot of contact right now. Thinks he has some really good hands, good range, and a strong arm up the middle. 1-0 is popped up. He's got to hold your breath here as a hitter. Ooh, what a play by McCoy.
Wow.
Going around JJ's doghouse down the right field line to hammer that one home.
That's a tough corner right there. I didn't think he was going to get to that ball. I thought it was either going to tuck into foul territory by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers' right field patio, or I thought he just wasn't going to be able to get there quick enough.
Get a second look in our YouTube monitor here, kind of going around that edge out there in right field first, and then you have the doghouse jutting out at you at the last second, which is something you might not think about right away.
Well, why would you? I mean, who thinks you play baseball your whole life, you never think about running into a doghouse?
Ooh, snap throw back to first base. Got him! Jordan Finney says, see you later over at first. Vaughn Jr. creeping off a little too far. And the defense sparkles here in the second inning.
That's a tough call for the umpire there. When you have a 2-umpire crew and he's standing by second base, that's a really tough angle to make that call. I think he might have got back in with his hand. No fault to the umpire.
It was close, though. He got him on that right hip, so that's probably the only place where he could tag him to get the out.
Yeah, that's tough. That's very close play.
So Revels is going to face the minimum, and now we have our DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot, Lancelot, going for the Corns here today.
Lancelot gives you a good effort out there.
And now they're giving these mascots a head start. We saw this yesterday. It's been not fair.
Well, Lancelot needs a head start, it looks like. That's not much of a clip.
I believe this young man's name is Gray. They randomly choose these fans, so we're not able to get their name before the game here, but he makes a nice
inside of the bag there.
Turn.
Took a nice route. Yeah,
absolutely.
With the inside of the bag.
That's the best route we've seen by a young man or woman.
Lance gave up. Lance gave up at the end. Lance pointing to his belly. I'm not sure if he means he ate too much earlier or if he's just doesn't think he has a runner's body.
I'd have a cramp. I don't know.
Yeah.
On a hot day as well.
Right.
USPBL.com/shop, your place to get all your merchandise here in the USPBL. Those hats, the jerseys, the long sleeve T-shirts, and the sweatshirts, and of course the short sleeves to wear to the ballpark in this hot weather and just around town as well. We love to see that merchandise walking around Metro Detroit and thereabouts.
Before the offseason, I want to grab that long sleeve Hoppers one, but I certainly don't need long sleeves right now.
No.
I can probably wait on that one for a little bit.
We encourage you to chime in on Facebook and YouTube. Tisha Mitchell says nice play, Corns. Tammy Hurt says nice catch, 17. Jeffrey Faber thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game. Unicorns 7, Hoppers 5. Looking for that JJ plush toy here today. Tammy Hurt says the player of the game is Lancelot. I don't know after that run on the track there.
Tammy's not going to run with Derek Hurt as her choice?
I don't think so.
He's already got 1 RBI.
9-1-2 coming up. Or check that. It's 5-6-7
yep.
here for the Unicorns. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Hoppers next half. That's your Zach Hart agency. 3 men on deck. Snyder, Barnzell, Beverly for Jim Essian's squad.
Snyder's picked it up of late, taking a lot of good swings. Got some pop in his bat, probably as much as anyone does on this Unicorns club.
A home run, 5 RBIs driven in thus far. 5 through 7 today is 2 home runs in this Unicorns lineup. They've only hit 3 out so far this year. Only a total of 11 extra base hits. 6 doubles, by far the highest in that grouping. Murphy gets an easy pop fly here. Vaughn Jr. with the glasses, able to hammer it home.
Yeah, this Unicorns club is not in first place because of their extra bases. They're in first place because of starting pitching. And if they can get the offense going, then they're going to be that much tougher.
Here's Ashton Bartzel now. With the Unicorns this year, has had a lot of at-bats, 20 of them, 3 for 20 with a double.
Oh.
First pitch slider at 77 for strike 1.
I like that pitch. They had pretty good action on it.
23.52 spin rate.
Yeah, it looked like it. A little harder than he normally throws it, too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Goes back to the fastball at 87.
It's interesting. Between his fastball and his slider today, there's less differential than normal. Fastball a little bit down, slider a little bit up, it seems like.
Here's the 0-2 now. Slider again, who just missed the outside. He wanted that call.
Of course, the more important thing is he seems to...
At 83, first strikeout for John Murphy. So Murphy came here last year to the USPBL. Really used that slider as his out pitch, as the closer for Maryland. They taught him to start moving better and kind of how to use that fastball as well, more to his advantage. He's thrown 95 at one point early on in this season. So he can get it up there. The velocity not quite to the 90s so far here today. We've seen 190 mile per hour pitch, I believe. Johnson testing the waters there. I think that hit the netting, though.
Yep.
Whether he caught it or not, that's in our complete blind spot all the way around. I think he might have caught it.
Yeah, it looked like he did, but we could see the net move from where we're at.
I could hear it too.
Right.
Right back into the glove. Good efforts. Right side of the infield back, as you'd think, with this lefty at the plate. Left side kind of shaded more towards the line than normal. A 1 is swing and a miss. Fly out and a strikeout to begin this second inning. He only faced 4 in the first inning despite giving up a run. 0-2, swing and a miss. Got Beverly to whiff here. Back-to-back strikeouts, and Murphy coaxes a 1-2-3 breeze. So we'll see if they might test him for another inning. Back with more after this in a 1-1 game on the USPBL Network.
Detroit Mercy really models a value-based education. They focus a lot on service, which provides so many different experiences and opportunities that allows us to tie in everything we learn, how to apply that outside of the class.
There are a number of different programs that we're a part of to help bring the community back and revitalize the city of Detroit. Doing service with the community really helps bring Detroit Mercy outside of the gates and to everyone.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Oh, great. Up here and look around the Thank you guys so much.
Give it.
Detroit Mercy really models a value-based education. They focus a lot on service, which provides so many different experiences and opportunities that allows us to tie in everything we learn, how to apply that outside of the class.
There are a number of different programs that we're a part of to help bring the community back and revitalize the city of Detroit. Doing service with the community really helps bring Detroit Mercy outside of the gates and to everyone.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field. It's a 1-1 game. Diamond Hoppers in the top of the third inning will send up Jordan Pontius, 9th hitter. Anthony Maselli, the top, and Jalen Smith, the number 2 hitter. That's your Zach Hart Agency 3 men up here. Justin Revels has looked pretty sharp. Retired the first man. He saw Maselli back in the first inning, then the single by Jalen Smith. He ended up moving to second and was driven in by the 2-out single to right by Zach Gray. Second inning, it was all about the defense, trying to bunt for a hit here as Pontius right back to Revels, and a strong play off the mound for out number 1.
That's the guy you want to avoid when you're trying to bunt for a hit. Haven't seen a lot of bunting overall, but the occasional bunt for hit we've seen in the league so far this year.
First pitch to Maselli is low and in. Anthony 0 for 1 with a ground ball. There you see Finney. He made a nice pick play over to first base to end the second. The minimum was faced by Justin Revels because of that. Over at first, gunning down Greg Vaughn Jr.
Pitcher loves that when you bail him out of an inning with a pickoff.
Here's the 1-1 now. Away. 2-1 on Anthony Maselli. He's another guy, and this is what you want to see certainly out of your leadoff hitter. A lot of patience, 9 walks to 4 strikeouts to score 10 runs. So that alone is good production. Didn't get after that one the way he wanted to, as Blaze cannot hammer it home.
Nice job by Snyder there. Went from his normal spot at first base to cover second because everybody else was pursuing that ball. Had he not done that, Maselli was going to be standing on second base.
They've ruled it a hit, which coming from Blaze makes sense. If an outfielder drops that ball, probably an error.
Yes. Yeah, definitely tougher to go back on that type of ball.
Beverly going to cover the bag here with the right-hander at the plate, and Jalen Smith. He had a single back in the first inning. Pretty good swing on it. Swings over that 86-mile-per-hour fastball.
Took a big hack at that one.
Well, Justin Revels found himself in the record book in just 2 seasons at Illinois Springfield. 27 starts, 16-3 over his career. He's the all-time leader in Ks at 197. And Ks per 9 at 11.69. That just clipped Jalen Smith.
Must have been just barely. I missed it myself to the naked eye anyway. Just barely on the wrist or the forearm.
And maybe on that padding that he has.
Yeah.
Luke Johnson will love a hit. He's 0 for his last 5 going back to Friday night. Struck out in his first at-bat.
This would be a good time for him to break loose again, that's for sure.
Swing and a miss. First pitch breaking ball at 80. He struck out in a 2-2 pitch. It was a battle against Justin Revels back in the first inning. That was for the second out. On the ground, shortstop side. Blaze ranges over, quickly turns to second, over to first. Close play, but they got him. 6-4-3 double play, and the defense shining here this afternoon thus far.
Really nice turn there. He had to go to his right to get to that, and he needed to get rid of it quick if he wanted a chance to turn 2.
Now it's now time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. JJ going to bring the water out. That's also important on a day like this. He's got to drink some water today, too.
Yeah, looks like umpire Gary Wagenschutz today, working the bases. Did he trade a treat with JJ yet?
I think so, yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it. JJ's waiting, though, isn't he?
I don't know. Maybe Gary doesn't have one.
Yeah, he may not. And JJ's starting to get the message. Oh, he's going to his pocket. There we go. JJ says, I knew that was coming.
So JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union, as always here.
We got Quincy Jones out.
Dante Glover looks like.
Oh, Dante Glover, okay.
Similar statures.
Both lefties. We see Quincy so much, I feel like I expect to see him.
Right. Good outing, though, for Murphy. Exactly what they wanted him to do. They wanted to obviously limit walks. He walked only 1, and that ultimately is what came around to score. But other than that, I mean, he only faced 4 after giving up the run in the first, and then got him down 1-2-3 in the second, as he hasn't been stretched out really all year. That's probably why you don't see him pitch a 3rd inning, and they want to, I think, probably get a good taste in his mouth after retiring the side 1-2-3.
Yeah, I think he can feel good about his outing today. It was definitely a step up from the last time he was out. He commanded both pitches better.
So a little surprised not to see Jack Ferguson right now. Maybe he'll be the 3rd man out.
Could be. He could. I know he's comfortable being in a more of a back-end role, certainly, so that could be the case.
I think they wanted him to get 2 innings, though, because of not pitching in a week. That's
right.
What he said before the game. But
Sure.
A little bit of a change of plans here, so we'll see if Ferguson does come in. Obviously very early still, so he could still get 2 innings in 5 and 6 possibly if Glover goes a few.
Yeah, I wasn't personally expecting to see Glover, at least not this early.
So him and Johnson will go over the signals here. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here this afternoon. Afternoon baseball. Certainly a tradition here on Sundays at Jimmy John's Field, around baseball in general, I would say. Weekly hit to Pontius for the first down. So that's 5 up and 5 down going back to the first.
Relief
for
pitcher.
Hopper's pitching, yeah.
Relief pitcher loves that. Come in, throw 1 pitch, get an out.
I looked up Cincinnati and Detroit, still 0-0 in the third inning, but on the box score it says no in-person attendance. Rub it in a little bit more, guys.
Right. I guess it's better than saying 0.
Here's the 0-1 to Malik Blaze on the ground shortstop side. Maselli, don't often see him cough one up like that. It's going to go for an E6.
Not a very good swing by Blaze. He kind of rolled over a pitch that was well away from him and should have been an easy out there, but everyone makes mistakes, even good infielders.
Is that a case of just trying to come up maybe a little bit quicker than when he didn't have the ball?
Yeah, I mean, he's familiar with Blaze's speed. He knows he gets down the line pretty quick, and he maybe tried to hurry that a little bit. He picked his head up a little bit sooner than he should have.
I mean, for Blaze, who came in at 2-23, now he'll be 2-24 by reaching on the air. But if he's able to swipe a bag or two here, maybe that gets his feet underneath him at the plate.
I think he'll try. Runs could be at a premium today, and between this at bat and the next, I'm sure he's going to attempt to steal here at some point, although he does have a left-handed pitcher to read.
Gives him a quick look. The 0-1, swing and a miss. 86-mile-per-hour two-seamer there from Dante Glover. The ground out to Finney, then the air to Maselli has put a runner on first. First base runner since the first frame for Hopper's pitching here. Murphy sent him down, fly out, strikeout, strikeout. And it was a quick 0-2 strikeout to Ben Beverly. Modest lead over at first base for Blaze as that one poured in for ball 2.
If Blaze is going to steal, he may want to think about going just on first movement, because it looks like Glover looks at the runner pretty much on every lift. And
Does the same
did.
there in motion. Good pitch to throw on, a little off target to the left, and swiping the bag is Blaze. You got to be perfect with the throw if you're going to get Malik Blaze going first to second.
If he goes on first move like that, absolutely. Had he waited until he knew Glover was going home, then it wouldn't have been as good of a jump. But he picked the right time to go.
Adam De La Cruz comes up for his second at-bat here, walking a run score, the only run of the game for the Unicorns thus far. Great at-bat by Derek Hurt to drive him in the end. Sent it over to second base after a long 3-2 battle. That one outside. Now the 1-0. In for strike one at 87. That fastball has some spin from Glover, 20.09. So that's kind of approaching breaking ball territory to some extent. Right on the edge.
Yep.
1-1 is inside 2-1.
I know he throws both a two-seamer and a four-seamer.
So for those of you that are not as familiar with baseball analytics, there's so many out there, so it's hard to be, but that's rotations per minute. So 2020 rotations per minute, if you're at 2020, for instance.
Right.
Much better than my actual eyesight without glasses. You say you're about there?
I'm about 2020 with no help.
2-1 is high. 3-1.
Of course, the last time I actually had that tested, I was still playing, which was, many years ago. So who knows? It might be a little worse now.
I was in denial about getting glasses for a long time.
Is that right?
In my very short playing career, I think it affected me. Here's the 3-1. Outside.
I guess you'll never know.
I think I took the better route.
How old were you when you got him?
I was in college. I mean, they told me I might have needed them around 8th grade.
Okay.
So I denied it for a while there. I mean, I think it got progressively worse. I mean, and it's not to the point where it's too bad. I mean, I still have a pretty thin prescription, but still.
Were you getting headaches or anything?
No, just couldn't see the board very well.
Okay. Gotcha.
First and second with one out, the characteristic I can't see, I need glasses indicator, right?
Well, if you couldn't see the blackboard, you probably couldn't read a curveball either.
Gray playing almost in front of De La Cruz over at first. 0-1 popped him up. Barely going to reach the outfield. Pontius staring straight into the 88-degree sun as he is able to make the catch. So stranding a pair of base runners is Dante Glover. Continues the solid string for Hoppers pitching in the last couple innings. We'll head the break, come up with more USPBL action after this on the USPBL Network.
The Chevy Trax from your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers has a sporty, compact design that makes it the perfect SUV for everywhere you like to roll. Lease a 2020 Trax LT front-wheel drive for just $222 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
The Chevy Trax from your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers has a sporty, compact design that makes it the perfect SUV for everywhere you like to roll. Lease a 2020 Trax LT front-wheel drive for just $222 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Jeremy and Dan back with you atop Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. Zach Gray, Riley Mahalik, and Josh Goulet, your Zach Hart Agency three-men due up in a 1-1 tie in the top of inning number 4. Good job by Dante Glover to get out of the third inning unscathed, and after facing 5 batters, only threw 14 pitches in total. Ground out to Finney to start the inning. Then the error by Blaze, or the error allowed Blaze to reach by Maselli, was at second. Strikeout to Coley Curry, and then the walk to De La Cruz, and the pop-out to Derek Hurt sealed the scoreless frame. This Diamond Hoppers team hasn't scored since the first either. They got a one-out single by Jalen Smith. He eventually reached second, was driven around by the single to right by Zach Gray. That's why we're 1-1. Justin Revels. 9-pitch third inning, 37 in total. High at 87. At least one base runner in every inning. Thanked Blaze, Beverly, and Snyder for the 6-4-3 double play to end that third. After a single and a hit by pitch consecutively put runners on first and second.
If they can get him through one more with a tie game, I think they'll be very satisfied with that.
Checked to swing and kept it there for a 3-0 count. So Gray with hit number 6. Back in the first inning, RBI number 9. Production high for him off the pine, quite literally, in quarantine.
Right.
For everybody. I mean, I don't care what your hit production is, and it's been pretty good still for Gray, but you get 10 walks to 4 Ks at a quarantine, that's pretty good. This one might carry as McCoy does get over to cut it off quickly, and Gray is on, and 2 for 2 here today so far.
Fastball down at 88. A lot of left-handers like that pitch. A lot of left-handers very adept at dropping the head of the bat down and hitting that ball, that type of ball on a line somewhere.
Why is that? Any particular reason?
I have a theory about a lot of them. This wouldn't apply to Gray, but I have a theory about a lot of left-handers that actually throw right-handed, and because their right arm is naturally their stronger arm in that situation, I believe they're dominant with that hand, and it's easier for them to pull that hand through the zone. And on the flip side, they're not actually as strong with their top hand as normal, and not as quick with that top power hand as a hitter would normally be, and in some cases not as good at hitting the high ball as a result of that. You oftentimes will see a lot of left-handed hitters that throw right-handed. Of course, Riley Mahalik being an example in the box right now.
Off the bat as well for Gray, 102 on the exit velo. So 2 lefties in a row in Paul Nochi's lineup here today as that one rides outside for a 2-0 count. He has 3 in total in the lineup. Maselli at the top of the order is also a lefty. That's not too bad. They have 3 lefties in the order. 2 for the Corns here today, Curry and Beverly. Way high and outside at 86.
Mahalik was something of an RBI machine early in the season. Seemed like he was capitalizing on all of his opportunities with men on base. He's been a little bit cooler lately.
We've got Austin Dakar tuning up down the line here. .3-0, good secondary lead over for Gray, and that's a single and a walk to start this inning for Revels. Might be a sign he's getting a little tired.
He's leaving everything up, generally. Looks like a lot of two-seamers that he's leaving up for some reason.
So Jim Essien, the manager of the Chicago Cubs back in 1991, will take a visit to the mound here. And it looks like Austin Dakar may be coming in. Or maybe not. Yes. Maybe no.
He's ready, but he's not coming yet.
There's somebody coming out of the pen, but that's not Austin Dakar.
No. And he's wearing a gator, whoever it is, so it's tough to tell. It's tough to tell who that is.
He went back to warming up. So Dakar, I promise you, he was coming towards the gate. He was done throwing, but then he went back. So maybe he himself thought that
it looked that way.
He was coming in.
Right.
So first and second to start the 4th inning, trying to break this knotted score. Slider in for strike 1 at 80.
May want to stick with that pitch a little bit. He's still commanding that one. Fastball's getting away from him more so.
Now the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Another good bite to that one to the lower edges of the zone.
No reason to go away from it right now.
Third baseman De La Cruz pinching the line with this righty up. Snyder playing behind Mahalik with the 2 runners on base. And the punch out as Revels hits the corner yet again.
That was a beauty. He threw him 3 sliders in a row, and he threw each one of them where he wanted.
It's 2 Ks now in the first out. It's a huge one here in the 4th inning for Justin Revels. So now he's a double play away from getting out of this inning. Greg Vaughn Jr. isn't the best DP candidate with his speed. But Blaze and Beverly have shown today already that they can turn it pretty quick. It went 6-4-3 to end the 3rd inning in a similar situation. It was a single and an HBP that put him in the driver's seat with 1 out back in the 3rd. This Diamond Hoppers lineup. Strike 2 at 79. So Revels sees Austin Dakar warm up and said, like, no, Skip, I got this.
Said, I'm good.
Go back.
Just let me get back to my breaking ball here. I know what I'm doing with it.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss.
Wow.
79 again as he pulled the hook for out number 2.
He's got a real shot to pitch his way out of this right now. All of a sudden, he's really found that command with his slider. He's throwing it down when he wants it down. He's throwing it for a strike when he wants it for a strike. Of course, this Hoppers lineup, when people ask me about it, I always say, well, they've got Nate Grice hitting 8th. That's a pretty good sign. So they can get you anywhere throughout this lineup.
Tough hop, played well by Beverly. He let it bounce to him on that angle, and a great job by Justin Revels again to work out of the jam. Strands the leadoff single and walk here in the 4th inning. And we're still tied at 1 apiece here. Let's take a peek at the Scots standings now here in the United Shore Professional Baseball League. It's tight because of the doubleheader sweep yesterday for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. You see it all, 6-2, 6-4, 6-5. The Mammoths still scuffling after dropping 2 yesterday at 1-8.
Well, I got 3 teams tied in the win column, and as the weeks go on here, those games are gonna even out as far as the quantity of games. So it's really anybody's ball game right now.
Let's take a look at your Motor City Casino upcoming games. Will show us exactly what we have in terms of the matchups coming up and how that might affect the standings. Unicorns and Beavers going to go at it on Wednesday. Then you have the Beavers and Mammoths on Thursday. And the matchup of Unicorns Hoppers Friday. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Computer sticking just a little bit, but you take a peek at some of the fans here today.
That gentleman got himself a Unicorns gator around his neck.
Yes.
That's a recent addition to the souvenir shop. That looks like a family divided there.
Hoppers, Unicorns.
Hoppers on the outside, Unicorns in the middle. And the young man with his headphones on looking at a portable device that reminds me of my boys.
Andrew McCoy, Nick Snyder, and Ashton Bartzel, your Zach Hart Agency 3-men due up, 4, 5, 6 in the order for the Unicorns. Gerald Foster on YouTube says, way to get out of the jam, go Unicorns. Was a nifty job by Justin Revels, and he might be done. They wanted him to throw 4 innings here today.
Finished strong.
Dante Glover in his 2nd inning of work here as he coaxes a swing and a miss from McCoy. So we still see Austin Dakar warming up for the Unicorns here. So he probably will take over for Rebels next half. In there for strike 3. First strikeout for Dante Glover. 2nd combined, make it 3 for Hoppers pitching.
He's been throwing a lot of fastballs, and he's getting by with that so far.
The matchup on Friday between these two teams, we told you a 5-3 win for the Hoppers. Nick Snyder had a solid day, 3 for 4 with an RBI. Nearly doubled his hit total. 5 RBIs on the campaign thus far for number 35.
Finally saw that slurve there. He hasn't really thrown it much. Probably because he's been facing a lot of right-handed hitters. He may use it more against lefties, but has been getting by with his two-seam fastball mostly.
Here's the 1-1. Little waddler down the third base line. Mahalik. 8 up there by Gray over at first base. 2 up, 2 down here in the 4th. Ashton Barnzell hitting Hitting in the 6th hole here tonight for Jim Essian's squad. Strikeout back in the 2nd inning. That was also a 1-2-3 frame for John Murphy. Good finish to his 2-inning outing here today, and that is not a surprise that it was only 2 innings. That's what they wanted him to go, as one of your primary relievers here in the USPBL. And they think he can be one of the best relievers here.
I would agree with that. Certainly has that potential.
So Glover gets behind his first hitter here in the 4th. Did that a little bit in the 3rd. He did give a free pass to De La Cruz before he got the pop out. Runners on 1st and 2nd at that venture. Only runs scored for the Unicorns so far. Ground ball to second base, and that drove in De La Cruz. Derek Hurt, the beneficiary of that.
It's kind of the pattern against righties with Glover seems to be going with his 4-seamer up or maybe in once in a while, and then kind of throwing that 2-seamer away from them, trying to run it off the plate. And like I said, really hasn't gone to the breaking ball very much at all.
Here's the 3-1. Just off the plate outside. Good patience there by Bartzel to watch it all the way into the glove, and he's able to coax a 2-out walk here in the 4th. They're still looking to get this bat going. Ben Beverly 0 for 1 today with a strikeout, 3 for 20 overall in the year. As sure-handed as they come at second base, and they think he can, produce at the plate with some pop as well in this left-handed stroke.
He's shown flashes of that, certainly. Striking out a little more than I would have expected, at least early in the season.
Fastball at 85 away. We've seen some of these uncharacteristic-like fastballs here today, and according to the spin, they got some tail on them.
Yeah.
From a lot of these guys here today. Pretty much all 3 starting pitchers that we've seen so far in this game. 1-0. Fought it inside at 85 again. Big arching swing and a miss.
See if he tries to go to the slurve at some point here with Beverly up, the lefty-on-lefty matchup.
Here's the 1-1. Trying to paint it on the corner at 86, but no bite. 1-1 as the Unicorns bat in the bottom of the 1st inning. Both of the runs for these two teams scored in the 1st. 2-1. Way off. 3-1. Not way off, but just off the strike zone. Beverly hit in the heart of the Unicorns lineup on Friday when these two teams met. In the cleanup spot, he went 0 for 4. Takes that one outside. So back-to-back walks to begin this 2nd inning now. Jordan Finney trying to extend it. Paul Noche going to run out of the dugout here.
If I were Paul Noche, I'd tell him to try to mix in a few more breaking balls. I'm not sure if he doesn't feel confident in it, although the last one he threw it exactly where he wanted, backdoored it on a right-hander. I'm not sure why he doesn't mix it in a little bit more often. He doesn't, he's got a fastball that can tail, but he doesn't have an overpowering fastball in terms of his velocity. Has a tough angle from the left side. He could be effective with that breaking ball.
Had a lot of 2-out rallies so far in this game. They haven't really panned out. This one dives low and inside at 82. Finney grounded out second base side to begin the 3rd inning and is only at bat. Graduate of Albion College. was their catcher. Went to Cranbrook High School. The Cranes.
You ever been to Albion?
I want to say once.
Oh,
Ooh,
boy.
that fell in and out of the glove of Glover. Pops up and throws it over to first just in time. My goodness.
I think Gray actually pulled his foot there because that was sort of a very slow, lofty throw, and he kind of pulled his foot, but they gave him the in the neighborhood anyway.
So a great job by Glover to recover in the end, and it's still a 1-1 game.
Looks like he's hurting a little.
More after this here on the USPBL Network. We'll check on Glover when we get back.
At Priority Health, we're embarking on a new normal, embracing the changes needed to keep Michigan safe. While that may look a little different for everyone, Priority Health is here to help. With access to the care you need, the doctors you want, and the quality coverage you can afford. So you can get back to this, and this, safely, steadily, and with the smartest health coverage possible.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Got a Hoffman Dental pitching change here for the Utica Unicorns. It's Austin Dakar who takes over for Justin Revels here in the 5th inning. Antonio Torres is also entering the game for Jordan Finney behind the dish. That's not necessarily because of performance, because Finney definitely has had a pretty good game behind the dish. He picked off Greg Vaughn Jr. over at first base for the 3rd out in the 2nd, but they like to get these catchers in if they can.
Interested to see Dakar's fastball today. It's been a little bit down the last outing or two. Not sure if he's trying some different things with it or if he's trying to get more movement on it, but we'll see if it picks up at all today.
Yeah, when healthy, I mean, he can go 93, 96 with the fastball. Has a curve that's got some really solid break. But that velocity is going to fluctuate because he's a guy just like Ty Hensley and a few other ones in this league that have faced a lot of injuries in this short professional career. For Dakar, 2 thoracic outlet surgeries and a Tommy John. They want him to be just like Ty in terms of, a guy who's been injured his whole life and make those mechanical tweaks, get him back to where he needs to be and roll with it.
Sure. Why not? Why not be like Ty?
Ty's going to move on next year.
Oh, yeah. It would be this year in a normal environment.
And I think to a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of believers, and people that had picked him up in separate stints that he wasn't going to be able to stay healthy for a full season, and he proved everybody wrong last year, certainly.
Definitely. It looks like he's getting better.
1-0 to Pontius is outside. It's Pontius, Maselli, and Smith, 9-1-2 in the Hoppers lineup. That look brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. We hope that Dante Glover is okay. He did come off the mound on his own power. A ball that was hit at 80 right back at him. And you say, well, that's not the top that it could be. I mean, we see balls hit at 100 miles per hour. But, I mean, when it's right back at you.
It feels like it.
De La Cruz in at 3rd here. 2-1 is outside.
Talking about Ty Hensley, too, you got to keep in mind he doesn't turn 27 until during the course of this season. So, he's been around a long time. and he feels like a veteran, and he's a big guy and has that veteran presence. But he's still, we're only looking at just barely 27. He's got a lot of future left.
.76 for strike 2, above the major league average, and spin rate 25.78 on that last pitch there. Rotations per minute.
I've been impressed with Dakar's curveball. It's just the fastball. We have to figure out what's going on with that.
That went off the plate outside, and Torres couldn't even hammer it in, and that's a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. Well, Justin Revels got himself into some trouble to start the 4th. Single and a 4-pitch walk to Riley Mahalik, but then struck out Goulet looking on the corner. Struck out Greg Vaughn Jr. swinging, and then got a ground ball to Beverly over at first base. It wasn't an easy play for him either, as he kind of backed up on it and played the hop.
I know the answer to this is probably not, but it'll be interesting to see if the Hoppers try to manufacture a run in any way here. Maybe hit and run or something of that nature. Trying to get this run across. It's been at a premium.
Now we know one thing almost for sure at this stage. It's not going to be a called sacrifice bunt.
Probably not. Maybe if we got into an extra inning situation or something, but probably not even then.
Paul Noce is a guy who does obviously believe in small ball, but again, you hear kind of the same thing from every manager when you ask them about small ball and or bunting. It's not going to get these guys to the next level by bunting.
Right.
Especially in today's baseball.
Sure.
2-0 pitch is high and away through the glove of Torres, and easily trotting to second is Pontius.
Even statistically speaking, just as a matter of good policy, sacrifice bunting does not increase your chances of scoring a run. The only way that it's even debatable in some cases is if you have a bad enough hitter at the plate, which happens in the National League, or it used to anyway, when the pitcher was at the plate. Occasionally, in a certain type of situation late in the game where the run is super important, if you have a man on second base with nobody out and maybe a weaker hitter at the plate, it may improve your chances of scoring a little bit there statistically. But for the most part, there's not much of a case for sacrifice bunting in pro baseball. I think it's a little different at the amateur level, especially in high school, and the reason why I think it's different there is because the defense makes a lot of mistakes at that level. And a good
Catching.
sacrifice, good sacrifice bunt could get thrown away. They might bobble it. Kind of a different type of deal there.
Back-to-back walks to begin this 5th inning. You a fan of the universal DH in Major League Baseball?
I am. I think they should play under the same set of rules, for one thing, so that's the main reason. 2, it's just getting to the point where pitchers don't hit anymore, and besides the major leagues and the National League, that's really the only place pitchers hit, and it's unreasonable, I think, to expect them to be hitting at the highest level. And I'd rather see some of these good hitters that are aging, I'd rather see more of them stay in the game and help a team win by DHing. There's some strategy to it, not having the DH. It was interesting on occasion to watch managers decide when to pinch hit for their pitcher. And
double switches?
Yeah, the double switches are fun. That's certainly a nice strategic element. But aside from that, I don't think we're losing much.
A guy like Madison Bumgarner might be disappointed.
Yeah, sure. Also, these pitchers at the highest levels, they make so much money, the good ones, and you have so much invested in them, and you hate to see them get hurt doing something like running the bases or hitting when they're not trained to do that. They're only doing it once every 5 days at the most, and it's not their job, so to speak. And they could get hurt, and it's not worth it. Making Torres work here. He subbed into this game this inning, and he's got to work right off the bat.
You know how many career home runs Bumgarner has? Take a stab at it.
Oh, jeez. 3?
19.
Is that right? I had no idea he had that many.
5 back in 15, 3 in 16.
Just in the major leagues you're talking?
Correct.
Wow, I had no idea he had that many.
19 homers, 18 doubles, 105 career hits.
Wow.
3-0 is low. Now, here's 3 straight walks to begin this 5th inning. A 177 batting average. Almost every DH you're going to have is
better than that.
Going to have 250 to 300.
How many at-bats? Total career at-bats?
594.
Okay.
He has 40 walks, 255 strikeouts.
So
again,
594 at-bats is basically a season's worth of at-bats, maybe a little more than a season, but basically a season's worth of at-bats. So having 19 home runs in a season is certainly better than average. That's pretty good, especially considering how not often he comes to the plate. It's hard to hit that many home runs in 594 at-bats.
He had 10 strikeouts, or 10 walks, back in 2016 compared to 43 Ks, which again, on a scale of good to bad, strikeout rate is not good for a major league hitter, but all things considered, if you're in that era, still where it happens.
Right. Well, Dakar's got to do something to get back online here. This is not the way he wanted to come out.
First bases loaded situation we've seen in this game, and that draws in the corner infielders and De La Cruz and Snyder at third and first. Here's the 1-1. Nearly hit the noggin that time as Johnson backs away. You have Pontius at third, your lead runner, Maselli at second, and Smith at first. The 2-1 off the mask of Torres there. Johnson has worked a lot on his catching this offseason. Has also worked some on his hitting. Here's the 2-2 off the plate outside. He was one of those guys when it came to JUCO. They preached launch angle, launch angle, launch angle. Kind of got away from his game. Thought he struck out a little bit too much. And by the time his senior year rolled around, he went right back to the level type swing.
It's a big pitch here for both of these guys.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. In there for strike 3. Tough night for Johnson so far. Strikeout, 6-4, 3-double play, and a strikeout here in the 5th, and that is for the first out in the 5th.
And he knew it. He walked away without an argument. He knew he took a strike there. And that is a huge strikeout for Dakar. With the 3-hitter up there and the bases loaded with nobody out. Now he's got a shot at getting a ground ball and getting out of this inning. But he won't personally have that chance, it looks like.
So we'll have another Hoffman Dental pitching change here. Bobby Comidis going to get some more time.
This is a good guy to go to here. He had a really nice outing the last time out. In fact, he stranded the bases loaded. Struck out both guys, didn't he, if I'm remembering that correctly? But, he's very comfortable coming into these situations with inherited runners.
An inning and 2/3 on Friday. 1 hit given up, no runs. No walks to 4 Ks. He came in for Austin Dakar in that game as well. So looking back at that 6th inning of play, so Dakar started it. He struck out Josh Goulet, then the single to Greg Vaughn Jr. He eventually came around to score. Nate Grimes was hit, Jordan Pontius was hit, and then the walk to Maselli loaded the bases again. He struck out Jalen Smith, the number 2 hitter, and Luke Johnson, the number 3 hitter. Came back the next inning, struck out Zach Gray, which is a hard bet in the beginning part of this season. Riley Mahalik had a single and then a ground out and a strikeout, and that, in the end, sealed the 5-3 Hoppers victory. Beg your pardon.
That strikeout of Gray the last time may be influencing this decision, coming in to face Gray now with the bases loaded and 1 out.
And for a guy that's 2 for 2, why not play the numbers a little bit here?
Sure. My first thought is that they may bring in a left-hander, but, Comitas might be the right choice here.
Davis Clenny, fellow Madonna alum. Says, great to hear Jeremy Otto commenting. That's me. Thank you. Go Unicorns and go Nolan. So we thank you, Davis, for watching here today. Thanks for the kind words. Jack Ferguson, a fellow Madonna alum as well. I covered him as a Crusader in college. Had a nice run there. Pretty good conference tournament. Jared Price says, I throw gas. He's watching on YouTube.
All right.
Hello, Jared. Reminder, you can comment on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll try to get your thoughts in as this broadcast progresses. Zach Gray today is driven in the only run thus far for this Hopper squad back in the first. His 9th RBI of the year. The car has loaded the bases here with all walks. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Popped him up. It is going to reach the outfield. It has had more carry on it into the wind out there. Curry going to make the catch, but that is going to score the go-ahead run. That ball gets away, and luckily, in great position is Bobby Comitas to back that one up deep in front of the seats down the third base line.
That's a smart play there by Bobby Comitas. Obviously, he's going to back up a base there, but he chose the right base to back up. There was never going to be a play at home there. That ball was easily deep enough to score the run, so he chose to back up third, and he was able to save a run by doing so.
It's a really nice approach by Zach Gray, not trying to do too much. 9th RBI and 10th RBI collected in this game on the season for him. To be honest, I didn't think it had that much carry to it. I thought it was more of a pop fly than anything.
It had the type of trajectory where it was very high. It definitely went deeper than I expected.
Here's Riley Mahalik, 0 for 1 today. Had a walk back in the fourth and lined out to center in the first. That was a nice sliding play by Coley Curry to get him out of the mini jam.
He showed the slower move before that, and then he brought the quicker one there, hoping to get him. He almost did.
We talked about it earlier. We haven't really seen a lot of pickoff / attention drawn to runners this year. I think that's our closest we've seen so far. First pitch to Riley Mahalik. Big swing and a miss at 79. Comitas fastball, slider, curveball change. So a deep arsenal for him. The fastball can reach 89 to 92. They'd love to see it at 92, 93 by the time this year is said and done. 88 floating to the outside. It had some spin on it, though. 22, 27 on the spin rate. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back pitches at 79. Josh Goulet, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the fifth. 1 run already in because of the leadoff walk to Jordan Pontius. And maybe some issues with the contacts there as he had to dry some sweat out of his eye possibly here. That's not something unique to today's game. 88 degrees. Heart of the day at 1 o'clock. Start to this one.
See if Smith thinks about swiping a bag here. First, third situation. 2 strikes on the hitter. Might be a good time to run.
It's actually reached a 91 threshold here in Utica. Now the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Buried that one to the outside. Beautiful off-speed pitch for strikeout number 2 in this inning between him and Austin Dakar. Now time for your Senior Spotlight presented by Michigan Schools Government Credit Union here today. Nicholas Falls, fine graduate of Dakota High School. Really likes amusement and theme parks. That's why he was accepted to Bowling Green State University's Resort and Attraction Management program.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that existed. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see him here. We're an attraction.
True.
Maybe he can do an internship at some point.
So congratulations, Nicholas, a Dakota Cougar. Not too far away here from the ballpark. One of the bigger schools in Metro Detroit.
Definitely.
I think they're over, what, 2,000?
I believe. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, they're big.
Their football team, I'm sure, hoping that they can see some action in a little bit.
Yep, they're always contenders. Baseball, too. Their baseball team got to the Final Four just last season.
2019, wow, they had an enrollment of 3,034.
Yeah, I knew it was easily over 2, but I wasn't sure if it was at 3.
Yeah, they've been 3,000 for the last 3 years. They were 2,900 back in 16, so really steadily grown. 1995, just 616. So them and Chippewa Valley are two of the bigger schools in the area. And here's Jack Ferguson taking over on the mound. First appearance and maybe only appearance as a hopper.
Could be.
Just given the situation.
Right.
He takes over for Dante Glover. It's going to be Malik Blaze, Coley Curry, and Adam De La Cruz, your Zach Hart agency 3 men up here. Not sure if Dante Glover is coming out of this game because they only wanted him to go 2, or that line out right back Adam impacted things. It hit his glove, caused his glove to come off, and then he was kind of limp as the inning ended. With the exception of one outing, Jack Ferguson has been really good for the Beavers.
4 hits, 3 runs the last time out, and a lot of hard contact, uncharacteristically hard contact. It seemed like he was just leaving the ball up a little bit more than he normally would.
Because he hasn't pitched in exactly a week, they're looking to get him 2 innings here today. He's not done that so far this year, but that shouldn't be any issue for the former starter. He said he threw just too many strikes last time, gave up a lot of 0-2 hits. Wants to extend the plate in his outing today. Throw up and throw down. Here's a 1-0 to Blaze. Line drive up the box. And wow, what a bounce. Was that off the bag? It nearly bounced right back into the bare hands of Pontius, who was kind of moving one direction, and the ball popped right back to him. And
sure looked like it hit the bag to me. I don't think it takes that bounce otherwise.
So Coley Curry will try to redeem himself here. He's 0 for 2. Did make a nice sliding catch back in inning number 1 to set down the Hoppers offense at that point.
And that is the first hit of the day for the Unicorns.
You're right. It was a combined no-hitter for a while. That kind of swept under the radar, huh?
Yeah, I was watching it, but I didn't want to jinx it quite yet. I thought I'd wait till the 6th inning before I maybe alluded to anything.
I noticed it back in the 3rd, but it kind of slipped my mind. But 4 walks in total before that, and an error on Maselli were the other base runners. That's led to the only run thus far as Curry fouls that one off.
Let's see if Utica can take advantage here. Top of the order, good place to start with a man on, nobody out.
Here's the 0-2, lefty on lefty. Tough matchup here for Curry, as he's not seen anything like this game or anytime soon. When Curry's going right, he likes to hit gap to gap. got the speed to get some extra bases out of that as well as he swings and misses here. So Ferguson probably relieved to get that strikeout here in the 5th for the first out.
It was a nice slider. Kept it away from the left-hander. It's a tough ball to catch up with.
Five appearances for the Beavers this season for Ferguson, 6 innings, so all 1-inning outings thus far. 5 hits given up, 3 runs all earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and most of those stats coming from his last contest because he had that 5-game, or make it 4-game streak of scoreless ball. Exactly what you want to see out of your back-end guy. More over the top when he was a starter at Madonna and in high school at Stevenson. He thought that this sidearm delivery would be his best chance at delivering him to the next level. And here he is at Jimmy John's Field, pitching when most people aren't in professional baseball these days.
Yep. Did some things to reinvent himself and separate himself. It's coming along nicely so far.
Here's the 2-1. Slid inside at 74. Pretty good off-speed pitch.
It's pretty tough to square up his ball unless he leaves it up. When it's down in the zone, it has nice movement, very tough angle.
Here's the even pitch. Just got a piece of that one.
Nice move there.
Wow.
Smart.
Uncharacteristic 4-6-3 double play, but they make the most of it. Pontius leaving on the ground, feeds to Miss Sally and over to Gray, and good job by Ferguson to face the minimum in the end. Going to see some field pong here again here today, a promotion that comes on and off in the USPBL. It's mostly a weekend thing here.
You know, while they set that up, just going back to that double play, Pontius, I think, could have charged that ball harder and probably caught it in the air, but he wisely chose to lay back on it and let it bounce and give him a chance to turn it.
So this field pong brought to you by Vivio's Bloody Mary Mix. Trying to remove as many cups and buckets as they can in 1 minute. Just off the edge there.
It's a fun game for the lawn on a 90-degree day like today.
Yeah, for sure. Those are water balloons, huh?
I believe so.
Okay.
Haven't actually seen them.
Interesting. Just off the edge of a lot of these shots here. And it looks like Steven's going to tape it home. That's your Vivio's Bloody Mary Mix Adult Field Pong. So Bobby Kamitas out for his first full inning of work. Nice job again. I mean, he gave up the sac fly and RBI to Gray for the go-ahead run, but when you inherit the bases loaded with 1 out and do that and get a strikeout, can't ask for much more, right?
Yeah, that's a win. I mean, he's still stranded 2 of his inherited runners, and that's about all you can ask for, really. Try to minimize the damage, still give your team a chance to come back and win the game, and he's done that so far.
Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here today. So glad you could tune in. Feel free to chime in with us on the comments on YouTube and Facebook. Elizabeth Torres says, let's get those bats going, Unicorns, cheering you on from California.
Nice.
Antonio Torres from California, went to college out there. Josh Goulet today, 1 for 2, strikeout in the 4th. Did have a single back in the 2nd inning. Goulet, Vaughn, and Grise, your Zach Hart agency three-men due up in a 2-1 game in the 6th inning. The Hoppers trying to add to their lead here. Goulet also 0 for 2 and a run scored the last time these two teams met up on Friday. .20 is outside at 78. So Comitas, once again, reminder, fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. So out of the relievers in this league, has one of the more expansive pitch selection that he can choose from. Leadoff walk here in the 6th inning.
Put that on your list of Justin Orndorff questions for next week if he likes seeing guys that have 6, 7 different pitches.
Right. Yeah, it's something that we want to discuss, certainly. I mean, the consensus is you need at least 3 that you're confident in to be a starter in high minor league baseball / the major leagues. Relievers, 2+ pitches. Usually you want that high velocity fastball unless you can locate really well, like Ferguson, and the slider, the curveball, unless you're Mariano Rivera.
Right.
There aren't many of those.
Todd Jones didn't really have the overpowering fastball, at least later in his career, but he was very unconventional.
Goulet is actually the first walk this year for Bobby Comitas. He had no walks to 12 Ks coming in. Has given up 8 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned through 7 2/3. You trying to aim a little bit too much right now?
Yeah, it looks like it.
4-pitch walk to Goulet to start it. Now a 2-1 count that becomes a 3-1 count to Greg Vaughn Jr. And this is not what you want to do to the bottom of this Hoppers lineup because it gets dicey when you move towards the top. .31 is swinging and lifts that 85-mile-per-hour pitch over the screen and foul. Greg Vaughn Jr., a guy who works really hard at his craft. Like his personality, thinks he's a good kid. Glad to have him back. Got good baseball roots. That's what we know. We've talked about it in the past here on the USPBL network.
Very extensive background.
Runner in motion on the 3-2, swing and a miss. Oh, yeah, that hit the glove of Comitas. Oh, they're going to call batter interference, are they?
Runners out. Yep. Yeah, on the strikeout, I can't necessarily fault Vaughn entirely for that. He struck out and he's going back to the dugout like you normally would, and he just wasn't thinking about the base runner there.
Yeah, he got right in the throwing path as we get a look at our Facebook monitor here of Antonio Torres. So not much that Torres can do either in that situation. So
still kind of a bad break for the Hoppers, though, because there's no way that runner was going to get thrown out on a strikeout like that. He was definitely going to be safe, in my opinion.
So Comitas, after scuffling for the first 8 or so pitches he has a chance to get out of it facing the minimum, and he does just that off a check swing.
And gives
to Nate Grise.
Gives his catcher a little fist pump there, although Finney didn't necessarily throw the man out himself, but he still appreciates it.
Well, we want to wish a big happy birthday to that man right there. Look at that.
Great picture.
The hand up in the air because he's got a big brownie with some ice cream on it. That's not a bad thing to have.
And that's Mike Zielinski
here today.
Mike Zielinski, our director of baseball operations, does a lot of things to logistically work with these players, get them into town, get them out of town, get them a host family, get them set up with equipment, teams, rosters, all those different things that go into putting together a baseball season, and not as much on the baseball side in terms of the playing the game part and the talents and things of that nature, but more on the logistics side, setting everything up and uniforms, equipment. Does a great job here and a big part of the league. So I hope he has a terrific birthday. Not sure what his plans are. Not as many plans these days as far as getting together with friends, I guess, but I hope he has a terrific birthday.
We thank him for stealing his space in
That's
the booth
right.
here.
That's right. That's a good point.
We were able to move inside as of this week, so we appreciate that as well. We want to thank all of you for tuning in. This broadcast has developed so much over the last couple weeks. There's a lot of thank yous that have to be handed out. I mean, number one, on the operations and management side, we thank everyone for kind of expanding. And, you know, with expansion comes more funds, obviously, because you have all these camera people, you have these directors, you have people coming in from the outside. Directors have been great. P.J. Gradowski, Christian Gibbons, Dan York here today. But Jeremiah Hergott deserves one of the biggest shout-outs because he really pushed to make this broadcast happen. I mean, you look back at April, we knew we were in quarantine still at that point, and you were a part of some of the early meetings, but he was one of the guys that pushed this thing.
Right. Yeah, the broadcast, you know, we've broadcasted on YouTube in the past with this league, but it wasn't necessarily something that was focused on heavily because Jimmy John's Field is really built on having a tremendous in-ballpark experience. You know, it's usually full or very close to full, and there's a lot of parties going on and private suites and things of that nature, and that's kind of what this business is built around. And as you might imagine, the model for this year changed slowly but surely, and it became very apparent that having a lot of people in the ballpark was not something that was going to happen. So where do you go from there, you know, as far as keeping this season going and making it something that works for the entire operation? And, you know, one thought that Jeremiah had was maybe we can find a way to beef up our broadcast a little bit and give some of our great sponsors an outlet to advertise on YouTube and Facebook Live, and maybe they can't have as many eyeballs in the ballpark as normal to see their signage and the different things that we did for the sponsors here, but maybe we can give them some value in a broadcast format and, you know, talk to the owner, Andy Appleby, and the COO, Dana Schmidt, and others about maybe making that happen. And I think it's been a great thing so far. We've had tremendous support from the fans. The viewership has averaged around 4,000, as I understand it, per game, which is outstanding for this level of baseball. And a lot of people need to be thanked for that, namely our terrific sponsors that have advertised on the program and been very supportive so far.
2-2 here on Derek Hurt. It's Hurt, McCoy, and Snyder. Your Zach Hart agency, three men due up in the sixth inning. Hurt today 0 for 1 with a pop-out. 0 for 2, but he did have a RBI on the ground out to second base to Pontius, so that has been the only run thus far for the Unicorns. Ferguson out there for his second inning of work. Good job by Jack back in the fifth. He had the leadoff single, and then we saw the strikeout and catcher interference actually, that was the last half inning. So the strikeout to Coley Curry, and then the 4-6-3 double play to Adam De La Cruz. We saw the catcher interference last inning as Derek Hurt swings and misses. But certainly the partners, and we say it every game, is the reason we are still playing. It's the reason we're broadcasting with an expanded format here with 4 cameras. So the last single camera shoot on YouTube was Thursday, July 9th. That was the norm here on the USPBL. In the past, we've had some games on ESPN3 about 10 to 12 times a year, but that game had 288 viewers, that single camera shoot. And then the launch of the USPBL network on Friday, July 10th, had more than 4,700 views on Facebook and YouTube combined.
Big difference, huh?
First week, more than 17,000, average 4,000 per broadcast, as Dan kind of alluded to. Here's the 1-0 to McCoy. Is going to foul this one back to the screen. Andrew today 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Second week, we increased from 17,000 to a total of 30,000 and average more than 6,000 viewers per broadcast. And on YouTube, we've added more than 100 subscribers. Here's the 1-1 is in for strike two. And if you run a YouTube channel, if you know anything about YouTube, 100 subscribers and a max of 30 in one broadcast, that's a ton.
Yeah, that's a lot of subscribers.
Some people are lucky to have 100 subscribers in a year.
Right.
Here's the 1-2 pitch outside, and we encourage you to subscribe because that gives you, if you have it on your phone or if you have it connected to your email, it'll send you a notification. Hey, we're live. The same for Facebook. It will push you a notification if you have those turned on your phone every time we're live. So don't miss a broadcast. Follow us and subscribe to us. Here's a swing and a miss by Andrew McCoy, and something that helps. It might sound silly, but this thing grows with you watching here today. We appreciate all the people who have chimed in. It's kind of been fun to track, hey, you're from California, you're from Australia, you're from Ohio, you're from Mexico. We've had even throughout the year. But this thing grows and hinges on you sharing the post every time we're live and or telling your friends, hey, there's some good baseball on the air here in the USPBL. You can't attend quite yet, but once you can come back, that's something you'll see. And something this year, Dan, and I think we're going to see a little bit more of this in August, you see two guys who have been drafted this year in a draft that only had 5 rounds out of the Milwaukee organization, and Xavier Warren and Joey Weimer. So you're not only seeing guys who have, kind of been through the circuit and are either trying to get back or weren't noticed maybe in college or in high school as much as they should have been or trying to make some tweaks, but you're seeing high talent that were drafted in the top 5 rounds that are here playing in front of us as well.
Yep, we're seeing really good baseball. And for those who have been fans of the league for a while, we're going to try to give you that little taste of the in-ballpark experience, too, with some of the promotions and the mascots and the race and things of that nature. And, of course, we'll be more than happy to have you back whenever it comes to that time. But we wanted this broadcast to be an outlet for you to enjoy it in the meantime, and it looks like everybody is. We've been so impressed with the viewership, and the reach across the country is incredible. Of course, all these players come from different parts of the country, and I think their families tune in, and they also share it with others, and that's really been a huge blessing to us at this point, and we really appreciate all of you out there who are tuning in every day.
That one sprayed to right field. It's going to scatter out of play. Good start to the 6th inning by Jack Ferguson. Has reached a 2-ball count twice, and now a 3-2 to Snyder, but 2 Ks for a total of 3. And if there was any question whether Ferguson was going to figure it out after the rough outing and a week's worth of time off, I think he stamped the answer here to start the 4th or the 5th and 6th innings.
And I'm sure the viewers would agree with me, Jeremy, but adding you to the team has certainly been a big upgrade for us, having a professional play-by-play person here to call the action with us, and Chelsea as well with the on-field action. And, of course, I'm just a guy who's able to sit here and blab about baseball for a while and and restaurants and movies and and sponsors and whatever else. I don't mind chatting it up a little bit, but you guys are the professionals and certainly make it easier on me.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Baseball, my favorite sport, and I love to call this game. So it's great to tell the stories of these players. 3-2 is in there for strike 3. How about Jack Ferguson? In and out. Punches the time clock here in the 6th.
That's what we're coming to expect from him.
Strikes out the side, and Jack is right back to form here today. Now time for your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers race.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels, start your engines.
Now they're going to come out shortly out of that left field gate. Who you got today?
I'm going to go with Bella Air today. For those who don't know him by heart, that's the blue one.
All right. PD Pickup seems to always start in second, but then surge towards the middle, but sometimes he always doesn't have the best finish, and that's what we're seeing here.
Usually pickups are more consistent, slow and steady than that.
Does he run on diesel or?
Yeah, I haven't heard. Come on, Bella.
Ooh, there's a little bump in action here. That's to the side, and PD Pickup causes a spin out here.
I need one more collision for Bella to get up there.
And Bella Air is in the thick of things in the middle right now.
Yeah, it looks like Shelly Chevelle is going to take this,
Yeah,
barring a catastrophe.
Shelly going to cruise to the finish line here and slowing up just a little bit. PD Pickup's going to come in seconds. Shelly's got third place here. And
do you think they'll delay the start of the 7th inning here again today?
I don't know. They're sprinting to the end there, it looks like.
They hung around in the field for a while yesterday. We had to wait around for them.
Here's another flamethrower coming on the mound for the Unicorns. Their 4th pitcher used today in Nolan Clenny. Revels, Dakar, Comedis, Clenny. Good job by Comedis to reel things back in after the leadoff walk. It looked like he had lost control, kind of aiming it a little bit, but he got a strikeout to Vaughn Jr., and that was the play where Torres saw Vaughn Jr. just kind of stand there, and they called the interference as Goulet was moving to second base, just like that, 2 outs, and the pop out to Grise ended it pretty quickly for Bobby.
That could end up being something of an under-the-radar key play right there. I think they would have had that stolen base if not for the interference call, and it's just one of those things that happens over the course of a baseball game that could end up being a big deal in the end. This could very well be a 1-run game. They would have had a guy on second base there with a chance to tie it up, and it didn't.
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
For
We do.
Is allowed just
We
3
do it
hits
every
through
week.
8 innings.
Whether we need to or not.
It was earned, but here's the sparkling numbers. 2 walks to 13 Ks. A 1.12 ERA for this back-end guy. 2.2 just low.
Clenny's early college days spent at Brunswick CC, where they went to a Division II Junior College World Series.
Working real quick here and gets a K to begin his outing in the 7th. He's looking to hold this game right where it is and hoping that his offense catches up in the bottom half with a possible walk-off. They trail 2-1 here. And the story of the league was the Unicorns pitching certainly early, and that's why they stormed out to the 1-loss start, but ever since, these guys starting to catch up. 2 up and 2 down. Looks very routine.
And if they lose this game, I don't think it'll be, quote unquote, because of the pitching. But offense has remained a little bit sluggish for them. They've struggled to put up runs and definitely struggled to mix in some extra base hits, and that's something that as the season goes on, they're going to have to come up with an answer there.
Jalen Smith has reached base every time he's come to the plate thus far. Single and came around to score the only run for the Hoppers back in the 1st inning. Also scored 1 in the 5th off a leadoff walk to Pontius. Then he was hit by a pitch in the 3rd and walked himself back in inning number 5. So good to see Smith get on base. We knew this bat would perk up at some point. Took something off at 81. Fastball slider mostly for Nolan Clenny. 92 to 95 is where they'd like him to be consistently. 2-1, popped him up. Bavley racing to the spot and makes that play, tumbling down into right field.
Nice catch.
So 2 plays by Bavley to induce a 1-2-3 breeze for Nolan Clenny here in the 7th. Time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Here's Leo Ortali, your PA announcer. All right, looks like we're having some issues with Nolan's mic, so we'll stick with you here. But some big at-bats coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's Ashton Bartzel, Ben Beverly, and Jordan Finney, your scheduled 3 for the Unicorns. That look brought to you by Zach Hart Agency here today.
It looks like we got Raven Martin on to close this one down. He's been about as good as you can be in a back-end role.
Did a pretty decent job starting the other day. He went 3. When the Hoppers needed somebody to step in. Actually, that was Dugan Darnell. So similar.
Normal closer had been the closer,
right,
and started. But Raven in that game where he started, and then looks like again tonight, is kind of moving into that role.
Yeah, so for Martin this year, the only thing that raises a red flag is the walks. 7 walks to 6 Ks, 10 innings on the bump thus far, 4 hits, just 1 run. It was unearned.
He's not been hit very hard, that's for sure.
In terms of the Unicorns on the bench, they've already used their one piece. It was only Antonio Torres here today, and he's in, so no pinch hitters available. And we really haven't seen that this year with the shrinked rosters because of COVID and everything else that goes into it.
The managers in this league so far are really there for guidance and teaching and helping these guys get to the next level. As far as the strategic stuff during games, it's very minimal at this point. You know, it's something that may crank up as the year goes on or they get down into a pennant race, but not a lot of strategic moves with the lineup or certainly in-game stuff with bunting and that. Just trying to see what these guys can do right now.
So Raven Martin's another Hoffman Dental pitching change here in the 7th inning. The 1 run for the Unicorns, you got to go all the way back to the 1st inning. De La Cruz walked with 1 out, and then the great at-bat by Derek Hurt. Look, De La Cruz ended up at second base in the end, and he was able to score. So he was running, and Johnson overthrew Pontius at second base, and De La Cruz was on third by the time Hurt grounded out to second base for the RBI. They have not had a lot of base runners today. Got their first hit back in the 5th inning. Most of them have been via the free pass. They had runners on first and second back in the 4th before Glover got out of that, and that's his last pitch he saw because it was lined right back at his glove, and it took it off, in fact.
And only 6 total hits on the day between the two clubs. Even on the east side, not a whole lot of offense. Really, Zach Gray, the star of the day between his RBI single and his sac fly off Comitas, who came in with the bases loaded. So not a lot of offensive action today overall.
Bartzel was one of those walks back in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd. Swing and a miss. 89 by him that time. Here's a 1-2 from Martin. Check to swing and somehow got a piece of that one. Raven a strike thrower all the way around, so it's kind of a interesting sight to see him walking batters so much. But he reels that in, and he's going to become a real solid back-end bullpen piece here in the league. Fastball, curveball guy. Uncorks the curve at 72 in the dirt that time. Didn't have great break, just kind of floated down low off the hand. Here's the full count pitch to Barnzell. Swing and a miss. Martin buries him here in the 7th inning, and that's 4 straight strikeouts going back to the 6th here for Hoppers pitching.
That's a big K on a 3-2 pitch here in the bottom of the 7th.
9 Ks overall for Hoppers pitching. Ben Beverly had a walk as well back in the 4th inning. It wasn't a 3-1 pitch where Dante Glover was struggling to throw strikes. Eventually got it back together. Beverly didn't quite agree with that strike 1 call.
You can see it in Beverly's body language and his face when he doesn't agree with something. He's not shy about it.
Yeah, they believe those walks are up because of kind of his crispness and his delivery. So they want to get that crisp nature back to him.
It's important to have repeatable mechanics, and that's one of the things that they work on here quite a bit.
It has also impacted his velocity at points during the year. 89 had Beverly backing off the plate. Now it's a 2-1 count. That bounces. 3-1 now. Antonio Torres is on deck. It'll be his first at-bat since coming in as a defensive replacement at the catching position. (3-1) nearly hit him. Beverly will take that as he's on base in back-to-back at-bats.
Stepping up for the Utica Unicorns, the catcher, Antonio
Torres has been the backup catcher for the most part so far for Jim Essian's squad. 1 for 13 at the plate with a couple RBIs, 1 walk to 5 Ks for him thus far.
For me, Torres as a hitter is something of a guess hitter. He kind of he loads and he expects a pitch to be at a certain velocity in my mind, and I think when he gets fooled, he really ends up being out in front.
1-0 popped him up. Third base side, Mahalik going to go as far as he can to try to chase that one. He had the room, but maybe
might have lost sight of that there at the end.
Johnson out to the mound here. What do you think they're discussing?
That's a good question. I think they may need to get on the same page if a runner gets to second base as far as their sequence. They might be ironing that out early.
You don't often change signs until they're on second, right?
Not usually. Not usually.
Here's the 1-1. Martin thought he buried that one to the corner at 88, but just off the plate. There's some spin on that fastball as well. Spin rate of 22.34.
May have also just been talking about how they want to approach Torres.
Now the 2-1. Just fought off inside. It's not an easy pitch to catch up with. In on your hands and high.
After that fastball in, I would come back with an off-speed pitcher. Especially with Torres' type of swing, I think he can catch him out front.
Two does just that at 76 and strikes him out for the second out here in the 7th. That's a big-time K from Rabin Martin.
He made the right choice. Good pitch selection. And now Malik Blaze, the last shot here in the 7th.
Got his 3rd hit of the year back in the 5th inning. Also reached on an error to Maselli back in the 3rd. Tipped that one into the glove at 88.
It's a risky move, but see if Beverly might try to steal. Get into scoring position.
Here's the 0-1. Low.
It's tough with a left-handed pitcher. You don't want to get picked to end a game. We haven't really seen Martin's move, I don't think.
Good job so far by Ferguson and Rabin Martin here at the back end to limit the base runners. Luke Johnson held that one there, but called a ball. 2-1 now.
I think Beverly needs a little bit more of a lead over there. You want to at least induce Martin to make a move over there, see what it's like.
2-1 on the ground, shortstop side. Maselli bobbles it there, but still feeds it to second in time, and Rabin Martin going to seal home the save here in the 7th.
Did a nice job not to panic there. When you're on the last out of the game, you get a routine ground ball and you bobble it like that, it's really easy to panic, but he didn't turn one mistake into 2.
Well, he made an error earlier, so didn't let that get in his head at all.
Yep.
Either.
Veteran move.
Your final score today, 2-1 in favor of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, and that's a big-time victory for the Hoppers, given what the Beavers did yesterday, sweeping the double dip.
It is. If I were better at math, I'd figure out if they were in first place or not. But
yeah, there's a lot of half games here and there going on. So
exactly, but they're in the mix. That's the bottom line. And they were able to win without their typical offensive performance, too. You know, really not a lot happened with the sticks there. But they found a way to get through from a pitching standpoint. They got some key hits when they needed them. A key sacrifice fly from Gray. Rebels was good enough. Comitas, continues to be good out of the pen, and they got the job done.
Now, Zach Gray is our player of the game, and we're going to talk to him next here on your Auto Lab post-game show. So stick around for that as I hike down to the United Shore media desk. More coming up on the USPBL Network.
Diamond hoppers, ain't too many of the teams can defeat us. You on the sideline warming up the benches. Need a lesson I can show you, I can teach ya. You see a diamond hopper fan, point 'em out. 8, 5 ball, catch a frog, walk it out. 8, every time we score I'm throwing up my diamond. Both hands in the air, same timing. Let's rock. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, we the Eastside diamond hoppers. Diamond hoppers, diamond
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Welcome down to the United Shore Media Desk as well. In our Auto Lab post-game show, we have the hero here today. He was able to play both runs off the RBI at Zach Gray. Zach, thanks for joining us. Nice win today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Let's go back to the first at-bat. Single, just kind of to the pull field the other way. What were you looking to do in that one?
Oh, I've been struggling this past week, so I was just trying to find a barrel on something. Not try to do too much, and luckily it worked out for me. I mean, baseball's so random, you never know.
Then runners on base in the fifth inning, just kind of a simple fly ball to right, not trying to do too much right on that one.
Yeah, I mean, especially in those big situations, a lot of the time the pressure's on the pitcher to make a good pitch. So if I just stay with my approach, good things will happen, and that's what happened.
A big win for your squad here today. The Beavers sweeping the doubleheader yesterday, but this is a big one for you. You guys have been trending upwards with that pretty hot offense.
Yeah, I mean, today was just two good teams on the field. I mean, we like coming out here and winning. We had a rough week last week, so it's good to have two in a row under our belt going into next week.
Some good pitching from you today as well. The back end of the bullpen did a great job. Jack Ferguson in his first outing for you guys coming over for the Beavers, came in and faced some pressure, but he looks really good from that sidearm angle, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very nasty. I've got to face him a couple times, and it's a very uncomfortable left-on-left at bat. He's got a lot of movement both ways. Can put it where he wants to put it. Yeah, he's really good. He's one of the better arms that I've seen in my 2 years here.
Yeah, what's the approach you take as a lefty on lefty like that?
You just got to keep that shoulder in there and hope he throws something out over the plate, because you're probably not going to pull anything against a guy like that.
And Raven Martin on the back end as well, getting a couple Ks. He's been really good this year as well.
Yeah, Raven's been awesome. I can see the improvement Raven's made from when he got here to now. He's a lefty out of the pen that's a lockdown for us, and we're lucky to have him in the Hoppers uniform.
I've kind of talked to you, off air about some of the adjustments you've made coming into this year, but on the record, I mean, Vaughn Joshua was a guy who really improved your swing in your mind, got you back to that kind of level type and away from the the lift type swing. Just talk about what Vaughn has done for your career so far.
Yeah, Vaughn's awesome. I just want to start with that. I loved playing for Vaughn last year, and like you said, he's a guy that knows a lot. And when a guy like that talks, you better listen. And he really helped me level out my swing, kind of allowed me to get more barrel on the ball and not be so hit or miss. And I'm thankful for that, because I don't know if I'd be here if it wasn't for Vaughn helping me out along the way.
A couple nice knocks by you here today, so thanks so much for stopping by. Big 2-1 win for your club as well.
Keep it rolling, go Hoppers.
That's Zach Gray, the first baseman for the Diamond Hoppers here today. They pick up a big 2-1 victory, the most wins in the USPBL. Now, we'll see you next week on Wednesday. Another full slate of games Wednesday through Sunday here on the USPBL Network. Have a great Sunday, everyone.